Welcome to the, I don't even know what episode of the Leroy and Leroy podcast. Marissa Roberto is my guest today. Thanks for coming in.
I thought you were going to say that I'm Leroy and you're Leroy. And
This
then
is Leroy behind the camera. Yeah.
Finally, the big reveal.
What everyone's been waiting for.
It's been me the whole time, guys. Surprise. Spaghetti.
This is exciting that we're in the Toronto Marriott City Centre in one of the suites that overlooks the field. How incredible is this?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've actually never been in one of these suites, so it's kind of nice that I'm in here talking to a fellow Sasky.
Right.
Looking at the only baseball team this country has. Getting a little renos done here. It's going to be crazy. I'm actually really looking forward to this new season for sure. We'll see what happens.
It's going to be cool to see
what
how they do this year, too.
I know. It's a Toronto sports team, so let's just temper the excitement.
Temper the expectations. I get it.
Exactly. We'll just see what happens. Let's say that.
Listen, we talked about Sasky girl. How'd you wind up out here?
Well, my parents were actually very strict. So I grew up in Saskatoon. My parents are of Italian descent, and they kept a lot of the rules that they grew up with when it came to our family. So I was the oldest girl. I wasn't really allowed to go out or do anything. I attended the odd bush party, one or two bush parties in my day, but I was not really allowed to have sleepovers, go out and do things. My parents always said when you're 18 and didn't live under a roof, you can do whatever you wanted. So I kind of, the spiteful person in me, just worked really hard to make sure I could save enough money to move to Toronto and go to school. And that's just kind of my origin story here in Toronto. I drove down with a girlfriend. I had a minor panic attack at the spaghetti factory in Winnipeg on the drive over because I was 18 thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? I don't know anything. I'm just a kid. I want my mom. After I had some spaghetti, I was fine. We went out that night because I was 18. You can go out in Winnipeg when you're 18.
Right.
Big surprise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, you know what? I can do this. Ended up here, went to university here, got a job actually serving in one of these suites at SkyDome. It had just left the SkyDome, but I still call it SkyDome at the time. And met my now husband shortly after. It's just kind of been, just here ever since. And I go back always, of course, to see the fam.
Love it.
Yeah.
So how did you go from school to serving in the skyboxes to now TSN? What's that origin story?
Where do I begin? I went to Ryerson for a little bit. I was there doing their theater dance program because I actually grew up in Saskatchewan as a competitive dancer. So we would kind of travel. That's how I went to Moose Jaw for the first time at a dance competition. That was my one and only time in Moose Jaw. Sorry to say. I need to go back because there's always something to do.
Exactly.
I left that program because I just had a hip injury and I didn't really want to be a dancer for my life. It's not an easy life. It's actually really difficult. Hard on your body. It's just that you never really know where the next gig's coming from. It wasn't for me. So I left that, went into the journalism program at Seneca at York because I knew that I loved baseball. I started working here and I just fell in love with baseball. But I also at the same time kind of got back into my love for video games because my parents were so strict, they would get me new video games every Christmas, every birthday, and that would just keep me entertained and at home. So that was how I grew up. I love playing video games, and I wanted to either live my life talking about video games or baseball. So I thought I'll go to journalism school and learn how to be a broadcaster, learn how to edit video, learn how to do all that stuff so I can make my own content and do my own thing if I needed to. So from there, I got into the gaming industry because I started renting out camera equipment from school. And I would go to events like Fan Expo here in Toronto. I had my boyfriend at the time, now husband, be my cameraman. I kind of lied to get in. I said that I was working for a television station, which I was kind of interning for, so it wasn't that much of a lie. Right. But I got my first press pass. I went around, did interviews. And in those interviews, I met my first boss in TV, Victor Lucas, who had a show called Reviews on the Run and EP Daily. And so I started reviewing video games for a living and going around and meeting developers and just producing for this television show. And that was my basically full-time gig. Moved out to Vancouver for a bit. You know, they're soft out there, eh?
I haven't been to Vancouver. I need to go. But I've heard that. You've just been blacklisted in Vancouver.
No, it's obviously so beautiful, but it's a very tiny, insular place. So you feel as though you're kind of separated from the rest of the world. And I totally get when you're there why they think that everyone from Toronto thinks the center of the universe. But I was always in between because I'm from Saskatchewan. So it's I get what you're saying for sure, but also you guys, like, you can be a little nicer, okay? It's just like, you can be a little more inclusive to the rest of the world. It's just very cliquey. I felt there. It was really hard to make actual connections with people outside of my work friends. It was just kind of hard to connect. So I was there for 2 years hosting the show. That show went away because, well, television is wonderful. The rise of digital came. So people were streaming on Twitch for the first time, YouTube, all of that. So video games on television didn't really make sense anymore. So I left that behind, came back to Toronto. My husband was still here working for the Jays. So we were doing long distance for a while. Came back here, got a gig with Xbox, hosting a show for them. And at that time, I also got asked to host my very first esports event. So it was really cool because esports was kind of on the rise. And I did a bunch of different video games like Street Fighter, CSGO was my first one, a bunch of stuff, Rocket League, just so fun meeting all these different communities that I thought I knew because I worked in video games, but I didn't have the grasp of like competitive gaming. Yeah. So that was so much fun. I launched a couple different TV shows here in Canada, just talking about esports. And while hosting that show, sorry, this is such a long story. While hosting that show, it's like 10 years, man. It's 10 years of my life.
Sum it all up in 30 seconds, right?
while hosting that show, I got a DM on Twitter from my now boss at TSN asking if I would come in for a test for a show that they're auditioning for. And I was like, oh, you guys are doing esports now? No, it's just for sports. This is the Sports Network. We're just talking about sports. Okay, cool. So I went in and auditioned for Digital SportsCentre and got the gig. And so I was trying to balance doing the esports show and TSN for a while, for about a year and a half, until they wanted me to be there full time. So I had to leave the esports life behind, but I still did some stuff on the weekends. Like I would work for TSN during the week, esports events on the weekends when they're around. And then I'll do an odd gig here or there, but it's been mostly sports ever since. And we just celebrated our 5 years of Digital SportsCentre this past November. So yeah, it's been going off.
Holy cow. It goes by. Wow. Time goes by so fast, right?
I know, especially once you enter your 30s, you're like, oh God, oh no. It's like this moment now where just like you're trucking through and you realize, wow, you really, especially when you do stuff on camera and you're a woman, it's very like, it becomes very apparent that you need to have something going on or else you never know what's coming next. There's not always something to do when you're a woman in this industry, okay?
Well, that's not right. Let's change that.
Right? Okay, sure. Starting now. We're changing the world. Right, here we go.
Yeah, it's just changed everything this moment. So you never like saw yourself actually, like, you know, initially when you got into journalism, did you ever see yourself like doing sports, like being on TSN?
Well, when I was in school, I did an internship at TSN. I was writing in the newsroom. So I was one of the interns just clipping. I would watch different games. I would clip things. I would write scripts for SportsCentre. And while I was there, I was just thinking, wow, this job is really hard. This job is really hard. And there's not a lot of glory in it. You know what I mean? Like you're there just plugging away. You're doing your job. You're getting it right. Sometimes when you write a story for SportsCentre, it doesn't make it to air, okay? You're doing all this work for nothing. It goes nowhere. And I know you have to let it go, but right. I don't know. I'm a Leo. I got a lot of pride. I got a lot of jealousy brewing in me. So it's like I can't not have my work be seen in some way. So no, I did see myself a little bit in sports, but when I left to go do video games, there was so much joy in the gaming space, and I found my people because I'm just a geek at heart. And when you meet people that are like-minded, it's hard to see yourself anywhere else. So I don't know. I just kind of lived in that space. I thought I would just kind of be doing esports and video games for, as long as it lasted. So I was grateful for the reach out from TSN for sure. I didn't think I'd be back. And then here I am with these amazing people that I work with, like BarDown, honestly, the sweetest angels you could ever find for content creators. They're so wonderful and so respectful, and we're just very collaborative. We just left Blue Mountain. We did a whole thing out there raising money for Special Olympics Ontario. And it's nice to be around people that are kind and just care about you.
Yeah.
You can't always find that in this industry for sure.
No. So what, the e-gaming and stuff, like, you're still into video games, still playing on a regular basis?
Yeah, but not on top of it. Yeah, not on top of it as much as I used to. Because I literally was reviewing minimum 5 games a week when I was with Reviews in the Run and EP Daily. So now I'm not on top of what's coming out and what's new. I'm more just playing things that I kind of haven't gotten around to and that I've been wanting to play. So right now on my Switch, I'm playing Dave the Diver, which came out a while ago. It was an indie darling, but I hadn't had a chance to download and play. So that's been my playing game. You got to have a good playing game. So that's
what's Dave the Diver?
Dave the Diver?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Dave the Diver is so much fun. So during the day, you have 2 rounds of diving and spearing different fish, okay? So you're literally just out there collecting little things in the ocean. You have to monitor your tank. I don't know if you played Ninja Turtles growing up, but when they had the water scene and you had to make sure your air tank was full.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. Leroy behind the camera knows what I'm talking about. So you have to do that. You have to monitor your tank. You have to monitor the weapons that you're collecting. Sometimes you have to fight a shark or 2. So you're collecting meat, basically. You're collecting fish meat during the day. And then you get up to the boat. You get a little thumbs up to the guy in the restaurant who's running your sushi restaurant. Like, come back to the restaurant now because you got to serve. So you go back to the restaurant, and at night you're literally running a sushi restaurant. So you have a chef. Awesome. You have a chef behind the counter cooking away, and these customers come in and they get really mad. If they want green tea, you better get them the green tea right away. You have to pour it perfectly, or it's over for you. And you have to serve them all before they get mad. I don't know if you ever played a game called Diner Dash, but they would just bang the table, get so mad if they don't get their food right away. That's the vibe of the restaurant. So you make sure you get the sushi, and if they love their sushi, they will post it to their Facebook or Instagram, and you give it a like you're running a sushi business essentially, and you need to be the person doing all the legwork because no one else can dive apparently.
I love it. I gotta check this one
Dave
out.
the Diver, it's so much fun.
I've just been waiting for like the new GTA to come out.
I know, everyone. I have my boss at TSN sending me the trailer when it came out, the teaser. He's like, why is this coming out 2 years before? I'm like, you don't know anything about the gaming industry, okay? We need the tease so much further out than anything else you've ever seen before because we've been waiting for GTA for so long. Like we've been waiting for Rockstar to do something. Give us anything. It's too bad. Like I wish that it was like we kind of left the same old tropes of GTA and the same old cities of GTA and like bring it to somewhere like Toronto. Toronto's got like everything going on, and then like maybe you have a mission to Saskatoon. I don't know, but like Absolutely. Just like let's get Canada in the mix. No,
just small town Saskatchewan.
You don't know the stuff that goes down in small town Saskatchewan. I posted something in Rosetown. I was visiting my family. We did a little road trip to I don't know if you've been to like the sand dunes in Saskatchewan there, but oh my gosh, so cute. So I don't want to say cute. It's not cute. It's crazy. Go to these sand dunes, but we were doing little drone videos, and at that time there was the TikTok sound, the Taylor Swift TikTok sound where you push the camera away. So we did that with my husband's drone, and so we did a little dance like in Rosetown, and somebody from PA commented, "If you come to PA and do this, I will cut you." I'm like, that makes sense. I'm like, that actually clocks, and no problem. I will not be doing that. So things go down, is what I'm trying to say, in small town Saskatchewan.
Chill out, PA.
Shout out PA, though. Shout out PA.
In all my travels in Saskatchewan, I have not been to Prince Albert yet.
Wow, okay.
But that message doesn't...
Yeah, so... I don't know. Maybe don't announce your arrival, and then just like do secret things and post later.
What's your favorite spot in Sask?
Well, I have to say Saskatoon.
Yeah.
I have to say Saskatoon only because, I like to have a running joke that Saskatoon is just far and away better than Regina. People from Regina, the thing is, people from Regina, like cool people from Regina know that I'm right. Like we don't need to argue this point.
I don't think so.
No, but I did something with Grey Cup this year. I did a bunch of content for Grey Cup, and I was making fun of Regina with fellow athletes in the CFL, yes. And they did not. Some people in the comments were not okay. They were so unwell about it. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Are you from Saskatchewan? Yes or no? Because I feel like some of the responses made you feel like you didn't really grow up Sask. You can't make fun of yourself. What are we doing here? You know what?
Here's where this is why people get touchy, because it was Winnipeg Blue Bombers talking about it. That's why. That's
okay. All right.
Why,
yeah.
Right?
No. That's true. And also, I'm certain there was some salt there because Fajardo is playing for the Alouettes. And like there's some salt there too. Didn't want to see him doing well, and all of a sudden he's doing really well. I get it for sure. If you're a Rough Rider fan, I understand. But we need to laugh. We need to laugh. Our winters are so cold. We gotta laugh.
I think at the end of the day, most Rider fans, not all, most Rider fans are just CFL fans in general,
right.
And can appreciate those things.
Exactly. The CFL fans, the rider fans that were there, because every Grey Cup you go to, you'll see fans from everywhere just coming out to the Grey Cup, which is just the best thing you could possibly see. So I'll talk to rider fans, and all of them, from Regina or not, know that they will just say Saskatoon is better. Like, it is a joke, but it's not really a joke. Like,
No, that's true.
I don't know. There's always something to do. There's always something
to do. I love it.
Well, Regina has the casino, so that's something. There's something there to do.
There's Dakota Dunes just outside of Saskatoon now, so.
The Dunes.
Hey,
That's
do
the one
some
thing.
golfing.
That's true. Everybody from here that goes there for business, well, you got the Dunes. We got the Dunes. That's true.
I love Saskatoon. Saskatoon was
Yeah.
so good to me. While we're on the Saskatoon topic,
Okay.
I have a shirt for you.
Whoa.
Okay.
This is fun. Okay.
We drive around, we point out signs in dumb
Yeah,
places. My favorite sign anywhere
Okay.
is the one in Saskatoon that says, do not drive on the sidewalk. You know what I'm
Well, you
talking about,
shouldn't.
right?
Yeah, well, you shouldn't drive on the sidewalk. I don't really know. Thank you. This is just sound advice. Don't drive on the sidewalk. Like,
There are legitimate signs in Saskatoon for anyone who has not been there, out in front of
this is so good.
SIAST or Sask Polytech, whatever it's called now,
Yes,
that
I
say,
am.
please do not drive on the sidewalk. Because apparently that's a real problem there. That's
Yeah,
a
if you don't have
legitimate
those
issue.
barriers up, people don't know. Like, you
Right.
could. Why not? If
I
other
s-
people walking, no, they drive on the sidewalk. It's okay.
I somewhat understand why in that area the sidewalks are so wide, and I'm like,
Yeah.
people are just jumping traffic and going through
Right.
the sidewalk.
Yeah, well, you got to get
So-
ahead.
And in small towns, Saskatchewan, anything goes, right?
Exactly. Okay, so how often are you in Saskatoon?
Quite a bit.
Really?
Whether we're there filming videos or going to a Sask Rush game, Go
Nice.
Rush,
Yeah. gosh.
or I was just there for my kids' hockey tournament. So
Oh,
yeah,
I love it. Okay, so you're into hockey, then you're
yeah.
going to see the Blades too.
We did. I went to a Blades game. I
Nice.
have a Blades jersey thanks to Saskatoon Tourism,
Love it.
and I didn't even get disowned in Moose Jaw yet for wearing it. So
Wow. That's
They-
kind of amazing.
they invited us to Saskatoon. Saskatoon Tourism invited us up, and they're like, "We're going to give you a jersey. We want to
Yeah.
send you to the game."
Yeah.
So I show up in a yellow. I wish I brought it. I should have worn it for this podcast. The yellow Blades jersey, Leroy on the back,
Love it.
and they're playing the Warriors. They're playing Moose Jaw that night.
No. Bro. A betrayal of all kinds.
Yeah.
No, but your people didn't get mad at you for it. They
No.
understood. Yeah,
No, it was all
that's fine.
There were a
Yeah.
few comments, but people, they were
Yeah.
kind about it.
Okay, fair. I was also poo-pooing PA the night that I went to the Blades game because they were playing the Raiders. But it's okay. Like, it's fine because PA's cool and they wouldn't ever cut me if I if I poo-pooed them in any way. No, but I honestly love WHL. I love the teams. I love so many of the players and coaches. Like, it's such a homey kind of vibe.
Yeah, so fun following a little bit of Saskatoon this year. They're looking pretty
Yeah,
good.
I know they look good. I mean, they looked good last year too, though. So
Kind
they
of
looked good
hoping,
last year too.
I'm kind of hoping they lose to the Warriors at some point in the playoffs. But
Yeah,
You know.
it was tough because they did beat Regina, and Connor Bedard was playing for Regina at the time, and we had the CHL broadcast. And the second Bedard's not in the playoffs anymore, it's tough getting those views. it was because people just want to see Bedsy once in a generation. Bedsy,
yeah, he literally sold out arenas everywhere. Yeah,
I know.
it was crazy. Fun to watch though.
Oh my gosh, so much fun! I honestly love going to games. It's my favorite
Yeah.
part of going home too. See something to do. Plays game. Another thing to do. City of Bridges.
Have you been to many Rush games?
I have been to Rush games. Yes, I haven't been in the last few years. I went when they first started. I don't know. I go with my cousin, and every time I go with my cousin Marina, shout out Marina. She only watches the mascots. She will only she cannot stand the Rush mascot. Okay, I'm just gonna put this out there right now. I don't know who's in there, but you gotta step your game up, okay? Because she's coming for your job. I don't know. She can't she's gonna stand there. She's stand there and not do anything. I'm like, where they're playing. There's a play happening on the field right now. Like, what do you want him to do? And then he just I think he was riding out in a quad or something after the game. She's like, and then he just ride around. He's like, he doesn't do flips or anything. I'm like, that's all she's so good. I can't go to any sporting events there anymore. It's just like, I can't watch the game. We have to watch the mascot.
Just watching the mascot.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I saw you were at the Super Bowl.
I was the Super Bowl.
Okay. How was it?
Yeah.
What was the experience?
I am still so exhausted. I'm still so tired, bro. It was incredible. I was very lucky to go. Our show was sponsored to go and just do the show from there, but also get some content because I work with the BarDown team. So we are a TSN social team. So it was like a divide and conquer. So I would love to say that I sat and watched the game. I did not do that. We did not have a seat. It was just like a run and gun. Everybody kind of spread out, get what you can. So I quickly did like a video to cut and post before the game started of just like trying as much food as I can for $100 American. That was so much fun because we just got to stuff our faces with anything and everything that was at Allegiant Stadium, which is amazing because I'm a Raiders fan, I should say. I'm a Raiders fan. So the last game that I went to was there, but when they were playing. So going back for the Super Bowl was so cool because you got to see everybody from everywhere just wearing their team's jerseys because that's just the vibe of Super Bowl. I regret not asking how much people paid for their tickets because I felt it was going to be intrusive, but everybody there paid so much money to be there. So I felt very lucky just getting in the door with my media pass without paying anything and then just eating all the food I could. And then basically when the game is happening, I am on celebrity watch, right? That's what people want to see. You would think it's the game. It's not. It's whatever celebrities on the Jumbotron. So I'm literally I had to find a station where I wasn't getting kicked out to get Taylor Swift on the Jumbotron for sure, but also everybody else. Leonardo DiCaprio, when he showed up on the Jumbotron looking like he was doing a little something. Yeah. So literally just recording him and the rest of that whole commercial break with celebrities just went crazy on TikTok. It has like 44
how awesome is Jeff
million views. He is the coolest man in the world. He's just the sweetest angel. I can't just stood up and
there's a heart to the dancing.
Like how sweet is he? So we did a lot of that. So I didn't really get to watch until overtime, which honestly was the best part anyway.
Right.
So really got to take that all in and then just go back in the scrums and, see Kelsey and just the media mayhem around him and see a couple of different journalists get into fights about like spots they can get in the scrum to get a little piece of him. It's just like the madness of the machine was really interesting to see in real time. And just how much access you get to all of these players is really cool too, because the whole week leading up to it, we were there getting content, going to media night, but then also going to the team's individual days as well that they held at different hotels. So, and then just little things happening around the city. Vegas really knows how to party, obviously. So it was just a lot of different events and a lot of different content that we were capturing. NFL Honors Night was so cool, just being on the red carpet and just kind of stealing who we could. Had to get, because I used to work red carpets at like Comic-Cons or, geek conventions like that. Yeah. So I'm used to like trying to get these movie stars to talk to me, like got to get like Paul Rudd to talk about Ant-Man. But this time it was actual NFL players. We were just trying to get in there. I had to get Tommy DeVito. I was just like, Tommy, come on, Italian Canadian right here, buddy. You got to talk to me. Like it was just very like trying to convince who we could to come over and just give us a little bite. So no, it was a lot of fun. I was really, really proud of the team at Super Bowl for sure. We got the best numbers we've ever gotten. And unfortunately, working in social media, that's the number one thing you got to worry about is who you're entertaining and if you're giving the audience what they want. And we really crushed it with the content that week. So I was proud of that. Did almost no gambling. I've never been to Vegas and gambled less. Moral of the story. No time. I thought I was really going to hit it hard. Just like no sleep because I was working and then gambling at night because I do love the poker. But I couldn't, there was just no time.
Okay, for everyone who follows you, can I ask, did you keep the coat?
Obviously.
Okay, well, you didn't come back to clarify that. You know what? I didn't. It had the tag on it still.
I didn't shoot. I actually did record it. Didn't have time to go back in, get the footage, edit it, and post it. So I just kind of left people hanging there. But I thought it was obvious when I posted the Super Bowl and was wearing the jacket because I don't think I would have gotten in with the security tag. But I really had to convince the guy working the store to let me take it off. Like it was a whole thing. Like I have the receipt, dude. I have it was a whole. Anyway, I got it. And then when I was there, I got so many compliments on the jacket. I'm like, wow, thanks. And James Duffy also saw me wearing the jacket. He's like, Marissa, I would see something like that on the rack and think it was very tacky. But you put it on and you make it look okay. I'm like, I can't tell if that was an insult or not. But thank you, Duffy. Thank you so much. But it did look, I got so many compliments. And I don't know like when I would wear it again, to be honest. But it was cute at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can borrow if you want it.
Fat guy in a little coat. It'll be like Chris Farley. It'll be ripped when you get it back. You can send it away and get a vest made out of it afterwards.
I mean, hey, just wear it to the next Rush game. I don't know.
It's very 90s, though. The 90s are coming back.
Right?
I saw your posts with like the riders. Was it a starter jacket?
Starter jacket.
Yeah,
we love the starter jacket. Yeah, I rocked it on the hill this weekend. I'm talking like I can really shred. I cannot. I was on the bunny hill the entire time. I thought, because I ride an electric skateboard, so I thought that those skills would transfer to a snowboard. It doesn't.
No, not so much.
Not at all. And growing up in Saskatchewan, you don't really have like a hill like that. You're riding blackstrap. Like, what are we even doing? The hill, just looking up at people skiing, like ripping down the mountain. This sport is psychotic. It is. There's got to be something a little wrong for you to be going down a hill like that. That's crazy. It's not okay.
I've snowboarded once, and it was in Sun Peaks in BC.
Oh, whoa, so high.
And I got off the lift. We were above the clouds, and that was the bunny hill. And it took me almost 2 hours to get down the hill.
Yes, because you're riding the brake.
I was doing.
No, of course not. And you can't, like, you think you have it, but you don't, because the second you put your weight on the back foot in any way, and then you start spinning, you're like, wait, why is this happening? Why? And you have to really. So I was just, riding the brake the whole time.
Well, the concept of being on the edges, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
So I was just riding it flat. So I just continually fell for an hour and a half down. It was 20 minutes before we were at the bottom of the hill. And one of the people who was with me was like, "What's going on, Nick? How come you stopped?" I'm like, "I can't do this anymore. I'm done."
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, you've just gotta start going. And then they're like, "Oh no, you have to turn." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Just turn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, this is so much easier."
Right.
It only took me like 45 minutes the second trip down.
Right. Yeah. The lessons we learned. It's okay. You're right. The third time I went down, I didn't fall, which was nice. It does take a while to find your bearings, but I did not have the guts to actually go up the lift. I was on a little magic carpet ride going up the bunny hill. That was it. That was it. Going to be it for me.
Yeah, not a lot of practice happening in Saskatchewan. And yet one of the best snowboarders on the planet is from Saskatchewan.
How does that happen? I don't know. It's fine. And I get it. Once you get the bug, once you understand the way it works, it's for sure going to be addicting. Because it's so much fun. You're just ripping.
Absolutely.
Right? It's the same as, not the same as riding a skateboard, but when you get the hang of riding an electric board, it's just the best feeling.
Okay, what's the electric board? Like a one wheel?
I have a one wheel. I don't know if you can swear on this podcast. I ate some poop riding a one wheel for the second time I took it around. It was just, because with a one wheel, you need to really have your mentals locked in. You have to be confident that you're doing this thing, because the second your brain starts telling you you don't have it, you get the wobbles. It's just, it happens naturally. It's so intuitive that it understands when you're not feeling it. So got a little bit of that, because I was on a path where there was someone had a dog on a leash, and then the dog kind of went in front of me, and I couldn't think maybe I should move the wheel a certain way. I just couldn't. It just all happened so quickly that I just ate it. So I retired the one wheel. It's just collecting dust now in my apartment, but I do have a boosted board, and I thought that my boosted board skills would translate, of course, to the one wheel, but it's just a different beast altogether, because the boosted board, you have a remote control in your hand. So you control the braking, you control going ahead. You don't have to use your mind so much. You're just using your thumb like a video game. So, it's a lot of fun. My husband and I took them. He has his own, I have my own. We took ours on our honeymoon. We went to Barcelona and just skated the city. It was just such a fun little romantic way to get around.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, we almost didn't get away with bringing them on the planes, because you got to be careful with that stuff. Had to charm the pilot a little bit on one of the flights, but it was a lot of fun. The boards are they're a bit of an investment, and now the company that makes them doesn't even make them anymore. So I don't know. Like once the battery's gone, I don't know. I guess I got to retire.
There'll be someone who'll fix it for you.
Sure. Yeah. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But I recommend it if you, especially in Saskatchewan, not a lot of hills there.
Right. Yeah. No, we're set.
Yeah, you're set.
It was a new commute from Moose Jaw to Regina.
Exactly.
Actually, the one wheel would probably work, because you don't have to think.
You don't have to think.
It's a straight line, other than the bridge.
For sure. I also see a lot of dads on a one wheel around the city. So you're a dad. Figure it out.
That's right. I think it'd be a disaster. If you bit on it, I would be toast.
No, you got, because eventually you got the snowboard too, so I feel like eventually you'll get the one wheel.
Eventually?
Yeah.
The other one sounds better.
Yeah,
The
the
electric
boosted board.
skateboard,
Yeah.
yeah.
They have different brands now. I haven't looked into them, but
Okay.
the boosted board I was heavily influenced by Casey Neistat on YouTube, and then kind of just went from there.
And that was it. All right.
Yeah, I'm easily influenced. Look at this. I only wear this because of him. So influenced.
That's it. I love it. So what's the best sporting event you've been to?
Oh my, that's a
Because we were
loaded
talking
question.
about the Super Bowl, but I saw you were at like the World Cup, and I'm sure there's been a million other ones. But
Yeah,
I'm total like if you had one.
Oh my gosh, that's such a loaded question.
Or what's your Mount Rushmore? Of
Okay,
events? How's that?
well, I can do it from like visceral memories. So like, I don't want to say it was the best one because it left me feeling like I don't want to do this anymore. Was not last year, but the year before, Toronto Blue Jays sitting in the 500s with a buddy of mine. We were like 3 Caesars deep, just having the best time because the Jays were up like 8-1 or 9-1 at that time. It was like get into the 6 or 7. We were buzzing, okay? Literally and figuratively buzzing, having the best time I've ever had at a sporting event before. Then all of a sudden everything fell apart before our very eyes, and I just couldn't believe what was happening to the team. It was just coughing up one run after another. Bo gets into it with Springer in the outfield. Like I've never seen something so horrendous in front of me before. Like it was just, I couldn't believe it. So it was more like this is it's because I decided to cheer for a Toronto team. This is what's happening to me now. So a little bit of that. Another fun moment, of course, was when the Leafs actually last year when they decided to break the curse and make it to the second round of the playoffs. That was something very special. I was actually not at the sporting event though. I was watching it on a plane, traveling to Monte Carlo. Actually, I was going to play in a poker tournament in Monte Carlo, which is like so random that I just said that. I'm not James Bond, only in my mind. I was watching on a plane and I had a full freak out moment. I was wearing my Leafs jersey on the plane. For some reason, no one else on the plane leaving from Toronto had a Leafs jersey on. Like, what are we doing here? This is the playoffs. Get into it. But then I had a whole freak out in the washroom. I was so excited. So I posted that to TikTok. People were, because I was like crying in the bathroom of excitement. People thought like the plane was going down. What was this girl doing in the bathroom? So then I was like, I had this viral moment on TikTok that I had to explain over and over again that everything's fine. It's just like a crazy Leaf fan. Because again, I chose to cheer for a Toronto team. So that was very exciting. But honestly, going to the Women's World Cup in Australia, also this is an Aussie. I don't know if you know Aussie Rules football, but this is shout out to the Adelaide Crows. Okay. I went to my very first Aussie Rules football game there. I went to my very first international rugby game there. Just getting to experience different sports in different countries on the other side of the world where we don't have anything like that in Canada. Like Aussie Rules football, what the heck is even that? Like they're just seeing like the flag people at the end when a play goes in and they do this little flag movement. Like it's just the little intricacies of the game that people get into in these giant stadiums with so many people and just the love for sports there is so tangible. And it really felt like Canada, but we're just walking on the wrong side of the road and driving on the wrong side of the road and cheering for these weird sports that I've never heard of or never witnessed in real time. That was really fun. But seeing all of the women that were just so elated to be there to support women's soccer was really, really cool. And unfortunately, Canada didn't, progress very far in that tournament. But getting to go there and experience something like that, experience a World Cup was really, really special for me. And then honestly, I'm not going to lie, guys, at Scotiabank the other week, we saw a PWHL game that blew my mind. It was so incredible to be sitting in Golds. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, like, to be at a Leafs game here, but when you're sitting there and you're looking down at Golds, because Golds are crazy expensive, all you see are suits, okay, at Leafs games, because it's a business, of course, and you want to sell high-priced tickets, and companies do that and entertain clients. So the Golds and Platinums are usually filled with people in suits. You don't see a lot of jerseys. Sitting in Golds, watching the Toronto PWHL team play Montreal, and seeing all of the families that were there, the young girls, the young boys, the dads with their daughters, like it just brought so much joy, tears in my eyes, looking at all of these fans so elated to be watching hockey, women's hockey, and to see all of the women on the ice just so excited that like this is their life now.
Yeah.
And that we got to experience something so cool, breaking a record, and having the fans so loud cheering from the goals. Like I've never experienced something like that before. So that's really cool. Sports is all about these moments that are really hard to describe and hard to kind of explain to people that don't really get sports or are not really into sports or never really been to a live sporting event before. It's like you have all this hope for something. You want to feel something, and these moments really make you feel things that you've never felt before. Because you're not playing. You don't really know anybody on the ice or on the pitch. Like you're a family member, but you feel as though you're connected to them because you want them to do well. And getting to experience that was really cool. So that just having these moments now where I'm seeing women be able to just not only get up there, but prove all of the haters wrong. Like I still have whenever I post about PWHL, I still have losers in the comments just saying the dumbest things and because the NHL funds it. The NHL actually doesn't fund it. Like just Googling is your friend. If you're going to chirp, please know what you're talking about. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Like I welcome chirping. I love chirping, but like at least have a little truth in what your chirps are, or else what's the point? So yeah, I guess my favorite sporting event is the ones that I get to prove haters wrong. And
I love that. And one of my videos, my most viral videos I posted, I can guarantee it's the same people who are commenting who get mad at this video. I did one, there was a men working sign in Moose Jaw. And I said, I know this one. Women are always working. Don't feel the need to point it out when they are. That's why there's no sign that say women's working. And every time I post it, there'll be like 2 or 3 guys who are like in the comments.
But it's like, bro, just like, please touch grass. Just go for a walk. And it's also the ones that have like photos, like profile photos with them and their daughters. I'm like, you have a little girl and this is how you think? This is how you're going to behave at this point in time. Really? I don't know. There's also just a lot of people that, have never spoken to women before or like have any kind of normal relationship with a woman. They don't understand that they're just human beings. That we're all just like human beings that think and feel and like are doing their best or just trying to do their best. It's just a lot of pitting one another against each other. And I feel like I kind of contribute to that a little bit because I like egging them on just to throw a little spite in there. Back to my original point that I'm a very spiteful person and I just like to dig a little bit when I feel like they deserve it.
I love it.
Yeah. Thanks. What's the best sporting event you've been to?
Oh my goodness.
It's a hard question, right?
That is such a hard question. It was years and years and years ago. My first NHL game I went to will always stand out. I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. I know. As I sit across from a Leafs fan, right? With that, yeah. The whole interview's over now. Saski.
That's what I mean. We don't. Hello, NHL. Saskatchewan needs a team. Like we would not be fighting this way. If Saskatchewan had a team, anyway. Yeah.
No, I was traveling Canada with this theater group after high school. Okay. And we were in Montreal, and I was like lifelong Habs fan. The Habs and Bruins were playing in the playoffs. I went and bought tickets from a scalper for $60.
What? How?
I don't know. This was 2004.
Okay, still.
But yeah.
That's amazing.
I got tickets from a scalper for $60. We were against the back wall at the top of the stadium. But I'll never forget it. I remember Richard Zednik was playing for Montreal at the time, and Kyle McLaren of the Bruins clotheslined him, and he got taken off the ice at the stretcher. And I have pictures of that. Oh. Because that's the game I was at.
That's wild.
From the top.
I love that. Hey, we had similar experiences with our favorite game because I was also at the top of the Blue Jays game, and George Springer got taken off on a stretcher too. So look at us. See? Wow. Someone's getting hurt. That's what makes it memorable for us.
No more sporting events for us.
No, I actually got a good heater going right now with the Leafs because every time I go to a game, they happen to win, or one of them they tie, but I'm like 6-0-1 right now for the Leafs, and that's a lot of Leafs games for anybody living in Toronto. Like the Leafs it's very difficult getting in, so that's easily the most I've gone to a Leafs game. So now I'm like, I don't know if I should like put money on it whenever I go, thinking, okay, they have to win when I go, right? They got to.
Is Morgan Riley back in the lineup yet?
He only had 5 games, so he should be back now.
Okay.
I would say only. Sorry, that's like a hot topic. I should not say only had 5 games. That was ridiculous. He got 5 games. Let's not.
I mean, I was in agreement with it, but
yeah. I mean, no. Okay, we don't need to get into it. We don't need to get into it. But like, it's fine. I love Morgan. Let me just say, I love Morgan Riley. He's like the sweetest human you will ever meet. So for him to do something like that,
yeah.
Feel like it has to be done. No,
I have nothing but good things to say about Morgan. He was a Moose Jaw Warrior, and everyone who I know who has talked to him, loves the guy. That's the one thing that'll allow me to cheer in some way for the Leafs as a Habs fan.
Okay,
is Morgan Riley being
there. I feel like after the Habs went on that run, that crazy playoff run that no one saw coming. I feel like there's been less of a battle between Leafs fans and Habs fans just here in the city overall. I feel like there was like some kind of mutual respect when that happened. Like all my Habs fans, like all the friends I have that are Habs fans, I don't know. I feel like we're just getting along a little bit more now.
That's good.
Yeah, like we were happy. It's like, I mean, I personally was happy for you because like it's just nice to see. I don't know, even though we're rivals, are we really, or is it really more of like Boston? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like now it's more of like a Toronto, Ottawa, Toronto, Boston, and Toronto Islanders versus like Toronto Habs. Like I feel like the Habs need a moment here. You need to like collect yourselves.
We're rebuilding. It's coming.
Yeah.
We got a good future now. Some good young players finally.
Hey, listen, we love Nick for sure. That's he's like young and he's got a lot going on. So.
That's going to be good. I do remember a bit of an uproar in Toronto, though, when they put the Montreal Canadiens colors on the CN Tower.
I don't know. I didn't care about that at all. I felt like it was perfect. We made some content out of it for sure because people when we can get divisive about sports, it's always great for engagement. But even when they had like it, I was just like, oh, does that mean the Habs are Canada's team? Like, is that what's happening here? But I mean, that's the way it should be. I feel like we should be celebrating when another Canadian team makes it further than any other Canadian team. That's the CN Tower sport, okay? You don't go up there for dinner. It's too expensive. And honestly, it makes me a little sick because, like, it moves. Why would you want – that's what you should do. Go – actually, for content, you should just go and do it because it doesn't make any sense. Like, why are we moving?
I stood at the base of the CN Tower and looked up at it today. I fully walked out. I was like, there's not that big of a lineup. I could probably get up there right now. And I stood at the base and looked up and went, I'm just going to go walk around for a little bit.
Yeah. Just take a little walk. Because the elevator ride is also expensive for no good reason. It's a full ride. It's a ride in the city you can take to pay for the elevator. But if you get a reservation at the restaurant, it's a free ride.
Okay.
But for you to pay an exorbitant amount of money for a piece of steak. So if you want to go and try that, it's a very touristy thing to do. You can do that. But yeah, you will get a little nauseous. It moves very slow. But again, I don't want to be moving
while you're eating.
Well, I don't.
Although I've
moving in a circle.
Road trips,
Yeah. But we're just having snacks in the back of the car, and you're just driving straight on a flat road. Yeah. Like we're not going in a circle. Like you just want to look out the window and pretend that I wasn't moving at all, but then you can see like that we're moving. And anyway, whatever. Shout out to the entire restaurant.
I'm sure it's fantastic, and we'd be happy to come out. So we talked about like the best sporting events and stuff you've been to, but what through doing social media, what's the kind of coolest opportunity that's come your way?
Wow, I feel like I've been very lucky. I will say that I'm very grateful, and I've been very lucky to have different experiences. I guess I did mention Monte Carlo, going to play poker there. That was a social media thing that I was doing because I went with Poker Stars, and it was amazing because I hadn't really thought that I had the confidence to play poker before. Like I'd watch it, I like watching it. But to actually get in there and you realize how nerve-wracking it is when you get those first cards, you look at them and you're looking around. Like it's just so, especially when you're playing with your own money and you get excited about it. So to go and like have lessons with poker pros and get to fly, like we landed in Nice and then a helicopter took us from Nice
this sounds awesome.
to Monte Carlo. Like it was, I had my like own private helicopter taking me over and just landing in another country and just it was very up. I felt very up in this moment. And I was wearing my Leafs jersey the entire time. So they're probably thinking, who is this girl? Like, who does she think she is? But landed there, just fresh off the plane, no sleep, just go to my lesson, kind of tour the city. And F1 was also arriving there, I think the week after. So they're kind of preparing the track. And so I got to drive a Lambo myself. They gave me the keys, drive a Lambo around the F1 track. So that was such a, like, just kind of one thing after another. That was just one of those like bucket list things that you didn't even realize you could do. So that was my big braggable social media moment. But yeah, I've had a few things like that. And I know you get it too, because you want to have these experiences, and different brands want to show off the things that they can offer. So I'm sure you have something exciting that you did too.
Yeah, it's been cool. There's lots of things I got to do that I don't think I ever would have otherwise.
Yeah.
My favorite story to tell is we were down in between Christmas and New Year's last year. We took my son to it was like our family Christmas gift. We went to Denver and went to an Avalanche game. He's a big Avalanche fan.
Cool.
He's a huge Avalanche fan, so we went to a game.
In Sask are, hey?
Yeah, I think because they're good.
Big surprise.
Cale McCarr, Nathan McKinnon, that helps.
Love Cale. Oh my God, he's such a sweetheart. Yes. Okay, so you did.
So while we're down there, we went to an outdoor rink in downtown Denver. It was plus 15, but the ice was in, and we were skating. And my son was skating in his shorts and a t-shirt, and you can very clearly tell he was the only Canadian on the ice.
Yeah,
he was moving much better than everyone else. But I took a picture.
That's my boy.
Right? I took a picture and posted it, and I got a message right away from Ty Gretzky, who was like, "Hey, I love your page. I didn't know you had a kid. You got to bring him to my camp." So long story short, I took my son and my 2 nephews, and we drove to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho last summer, and went to the Gretzky hockey camp, and we were going back again this summer. And it was so cool to be able to go take him down for that.
Oh my gosh, I literally just met Ty, this all-star
Yeah.
What
a like genuine guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So cool, so down to earth. I mean, I don't know if I could be that cool and humble if my father was Wayne Gretzky. I'm just going to say that. I don't know.
He said, "You've got to come on the ice with us, like during this camp." And so I brought my skates with me. What? But I did not play hockey growing up. Like, I'm Canadian, I can skate okay. My son can skate circles around me. Say that.
Well, can you stop?
Yeah.
Oh. No, that's whatever. I can't really at all. So that's kind of amazing. I did an interview in Saskatoon with a skating coach.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but I can't stop. You can't stop? You're from Saskatchewan? You can't stop? Like, yeah, he really gave it to me. So at least you can kind of stop. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to go on the ice with them. Great. I'm lacing up my skates, and in walks Paul B. Sinet, who sits down and he's lacing up across from me. And I'm like, Ty, I did not play hockey growing up. Like, I'm not a good skater. Yeah. And he said, my dad's Wayne Gretzky. All that meant was I got to go on the ice before and after his practices. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's just what having fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it, right? Like, he's just such a good guy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love you got to see Biz too. That's so great. Yeah. I know, just the connections with all these guys too, right? And honestly, Biz wasn't that great of a player either, right? So it's fine. He says it all the time. I feel like we can make fun.
He didn't make it in for his skills.
Oh, no. No, but honestly, he's got a great personality. He's doing other things. So
he was a super genuine guy, too. Yeah. I've told a lot of people. He showed up, and like Ty, he was in town. Ty brought him to the camp. He was going to come on for an hour. And he stayed for 2 days and then went on with every group of kids.
You're 2 hours. You have 2 whole days.
Ty was like, you don't have to stay. Like, you can go. And he's like, no, I love it. So he was on with like every group of kids. So.
Right. This is why I genuinely love hockey so much. I love hockey for stories like this, because kids get opportunities. Even my husband, he grew up, his family didn't have a lot of things when he grew up. He immigrated from Guatemala, and he just didn't know what ice hockey was, but he was able to go to the community center, and they gave him goalie equipment. He didn't have to pay, just to try it out, just give it a go. And like, he ended up being like, he ended up playing in junior A. Like he became something from almost nothing because of these communities that just want to foster growth in the sport, just not just for white kids, but for literally anybody that wants to try it. Right. So I kind of just love that we have these very small spots here in the city, but also just all over Canada that kind of want to grow the sport and want to make it more inclusive. And that's why I love stories like that, where you're just like, no, my kid got to actually go and hang out and just have a little skate, have a little rip.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, and all the people who like volunteer to coach and all that kind of stuff. Like, my hat's off to everyone. Like, I know, there's always hockey parents who are like, "Oh, coach, blah blah blah." But like, just the time and the thanklessness of it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I know all of it. It just like any kind of volunteer coach of anything. But yeah, that there's a lot of there's a lot of parents. I mean, I know you see all the viral videos of the parents like banging on the glass or whatever it is, just giving it to the coach. I do feel bad for them. Sometimes the parents have a little bit of a leg to stand on, but for the most part, it's just like you might be embarrassing your kid.
I also understand the hockey parents. As a hockey parent,
of course,
you're so invested into your kid and what's going on that there's times when I just get up and go stand at the end of the rink by myself.
Okay, so you're one of those guys. Wait, we used to have a camera on you at all times.
No, I don't yell. There's times when I'm like, I can't sit next to this other team's parents anymore. I'm just going to go stand at the end of the rink.
Okay. I'm just going to compose myself. Everything is fine. It's just a game. We just, cry about it. Tears up here in the 500s. Absolutely crying out there. Jeez, sports, eh?
Thank you so much for coming. I literally told you like half an hour and it's been, I think, an hour now. So.
Oh, was it? Oh, jeez. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Oh, my gosh.
No, don't apologize.
This
has been amazing. So,
good.
Where can people go and check you out on social media, on TV, on everything?
Yeah, so I host a show called Digital SportsCentre on TSN socials. So, really any social channel that you have, but Instagram stories is one of those places. And then I'm just mrob29 on Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat. So I do a lot of my daily life stuff there and just post whatever. I do a lot of sports content, but like gaming content every so often. Mostly I'm just harassing my family. It's just videos of my nonna. And then, I don't know. I also, if you want to tune into TSN, sometimes I'm on there. Sometimes I'm hosting Plays of the Week or Month or Top 50 curly shots you may have just seen. I don't know. There's always something to do.
There's always something to do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much. I'm Leroy.
That's Leroy. I'm Leroy. There's always something to do.